The echoes of the Zariman update has brought us a new evolving dagger, the Innodem. Don't let the type fool you though, this weapon is neither weak nor short ranged. Let's see just what we can make of this new dagger. I'm the Engineer, let's solve a practical problem. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel to show your support for these videos and to get access to new guides as soon as they go live. Let's start with the basics, acquisition. Once you've completed the Angels of the Zariman quest, you'll be able to quickly get rank 1 with a holdfast, and then purchase the blueprint for the Innodem from Cavallero for 5,500 standing. Alternatively, you can trade with another player for the blueprint. You'll need to gather some resources to build the Innodem too, all of which can be obtained on the Zariman. Once constructed, the Innodem will need to be evolved to unlock its full potential, achieved by completing 5 easy challenges. Challenge 1 requires 100 kills with the Innodem, unlocking the Incarnon Mode. Challenge 2 requires you to activate the Incarnon Mode 6 times, and be aware that you must let the Incarnon Mode run out before it can be reactivated. Challenge 3 requires 3 heavy attacks on Thrax units on the Zariman using the Innodem. Only attacks matter, not how much damage you do to them. Challenge 4 requires you to close 12 ruptures in Void Flood, which can be done simultaneously with other Incarnon weapons on their 4th challenge. And then Challenge 5 requires you to complete any solo mission with 3 Incarnon weapons equipped. Almost any mission is eligible, including capture missions. However, entering and immediately leaving an open world doesn't count, despite the mission complete screen popping up. With all challenges complete, you'll unlock all of the evolution options to fully utilise the Innodem's capabilities. The first evolution grants you the Incarnon Mode. By obtaining a 5x combo, you can heavy attack to activate this Incarnon Mode for 90 seconds, just like with the Praedos. However, unlike the Praedos, the Innodem has stronger buffs. The range increases by 3 meters, attack speed by 40%, it gains a ranged projectile when meleeing whilst aim gliding, and provides a 10% damage resistance when you perform a finisher attack. The damage resistance stacks up to 4 times, with all stacks sharing Incarnon Mode's duration. When Incarnon Mode runs out, all damage reduction stacks and other buffs are lost at the same time. As you cannot refresh Incarnon Mode whilst it's active, you'll need to rebuild those defensive stacks with each new reactivation if you choose to use them. The ranged projectile in Incarnon Mode travels to around 21 meters, and trades out the physical damage in favour of radiation. These projectiles don't appear to be particularly strong compared to the Innodem itself, with the range gained on the projectile not making up for losing the wide or even AoE swings available with normal melee attacks. Some Warframe abilities can make additional use of the projectile, like with Zephyr's tornadoes, but that's much more of a result of the ability than it is of the Innodem itself. Overall, I personally wouldn't put too much value on the Incarnon Mode projectiles. As for the other evolutions, just like with the Praedos, you're able to choose between 3 options at each tier, all of which augment the weapon with stat boosts or side grades, but nothing as game changing as a 2000% damage buff on the guns. Evolution 2 lets you pick between a 0.5 meter range increase, 25% attack speed, or 30% sprint speed. All 3 buffs are additive to any other buffs on those modifiers, including the attack speed buff from the Incarnon Mode. Evolution 3 has a choice of gaining 5 combo for every 10 meters of continuous slide, a 0.5 meter aerial range increase, or plus 60% finisher damage. Once again, these are additive bonuses. The combo gain on slide is affected by combo gain modifiers, so for example, True Punishment will always give you 10 combo for a sufficiently long slide, while Quickening gives each point of combo gain a 20% chance to count double, giving you anywhere from 5 to 10 combo per 10 meter slide, but usually around 6. Now to actually gain this combo, you need to be in contact with the ground for the entire slide, and you must slide the full 10 meters without stopping or breaking off. In my experience, it's more effective to just get on with the mission and slap some enemies for some combo. The use case here is in maintaining your combo if enemy spawns get low, but we've already got a plethora of ways to maintain combo these days without requiring long forced slides. As for the aerial range, it's pretty poor. Not only will few people be making aerial melee hits anyway, those who are doing it will be using the Innodem's ability to launch ranged projectiles whilst in the air. A 0.5 meter range boost is barely a buff. This leaves us then with the finisher bonus. While it is just for finishers, it's still a boost to damage, helping to make finishers more appealing. This means you can get even more out of triggering finisher bonuses on the Innodem, like the damage resistance with Incarnon Mode. Evolution 4 gives you the options of reducing the Incarnon Mode threshold from 5x combo to 3x combo, adding 50% base damage for 10 seconds with melee kills whilst airborne, or gain 20 combo on doing a finisher. The 3x combo option allows you to always be able to activate Incarnon Mode so long as you have enough initial combo. If you combine together both Covert Lethality and Corrupt Charge, this will give you a permanent minimum of 3x combo for exactly this result. Even without initial combo, this evolution perk makes it faster and easier to get that first Incarnon activation in a mission. The 20 combo on finisher perk means every front or back finisher will step up your combo multiplier by 1. This bonus is affected by combo game mods too, meaning that quickening alone will give you anywhere from 20 to 40 combo per finisher, averaging 24, while true punishment alone will always give you 40 combo per finisher. And as for the 50% damage on aerial kill, it's currently rather buggy. It triggers for melee kills whilst you're in the air, including kills from status procs even if you started the proc whilst on the ground. The damage bonus can stack up to 3 times as well. But then, sometimes you'll get a kill on the ground, and the game just gives you the buff anyway. On the other hand, while the buff seems to stack normally, giving up to 150% more damage at those 3 stacks, with each new stack resetting the whole duration, the moment one stack runs out, you actually lose the entire buff. Despite this, the UI will continue to show the remaining stacks with a timer, and the game actually prevents you from regaining a full 3 stacks until you let them all run out. Effectively, losing 1 stack means you either reset the damage bonus fully, or you get a weaker version of it. Now, this is clearly a bug, it's not intended to stay this way, but for now, it's something to be aware of. Even if it is working correctly, that's still requiring you to get aerial kills to get this damage buff and then continue doing so on the regular to keep the proc going. As 150% damage bonus is additive, this can stack along prime pressure point for only about 19% damage boost per stack, or if you're using condition overload and 5 prime status effects, the evolution bonus is giving you just 10% extra damage per stack due to that additive nature. So with that breakdown then, it's a choice between a quirky, buggy, time-limited damage buff, a heap of extra combo but only when you do finishers, or a easier time activating the Incarnon Mode. They have their uses, but for now, let's look at Evolution 5. This gives you the choice of a 40% heavy attack efficiency after a finisher, a small AoE stun on alert enemies after doing a finisher, or gain 5 combo every time you pick up ammo. Once again, the combo gain from ammo picked up is affected by combo game mods. As this is when you pick up ammo, this can stack rather well with the Felarx due to it reloading 1 shell at the time, potentially triggering many ammo pickups through ammo mutation mods. This will both increase your combo and maintain your combo timer whilst using your guns. The heavy attack efficiency on finisher is a curious perk. Usually I would say you either build for heavy attacks or for finishers, not both. However, the heavy attack of daggers can open enemies up to finisher kills, allowing you to chain efficiency from one heavy attack into following ones by using a finisher in between on the targeted enemy. Otherwise, other means of getting finishers, such as using Naramon's Sling Stun, can also open up some useful heavy attack efficiency, even if just to reduce the combo loss when activating Incarnon Mode. That said, at only 40% heavy attack efficiency, it can be faster to simply lose all combo on your heavy attack and then just go get it back again, rather than going through the process of opening up a finisher, using a finisher, and then getting back into the swing with things. This all depends on the loadout you're using and the density of enemies present. Now as for the AoE stun on finisher, it's far less useful than it might seem. The stun does open enemies up to finishers, theoretically allowing for finisher chains, however there's a few things holding it back. Firstly, the stun can't refresh, meaning chains will easily get broken. Second, the stun range is very limited and seemingly affected by line of sight, further reducing the ability to chain the effect. Thirdly, the stun only applies to alert enemies at the time of the finisher. If you kill an unalerted enemy with a finisher, alerting other enemies in the process, they often won't get stunned if they only became alert immediately after you finish the finisher. And lastly, initiating a finisher requires an enemy to be open to one in the first place. This usually means the enemy is either unalert or already incapacitated, reducing the need for this stun in the area. All told, the AoE stun is disappointingly poor. As far as I can tell, all of the finisher related evolutions do not trigger on ground finishers, only on front, back and stealth finishers. Beyond the evolution perks, the Innodem itself is a rather capable weapon. It has higher base damage than any other normal dagger, and in Incarnon Mode it easily has the highest range and attack speed of all daggers. In fact, in Incarnon Mode it has the highest range of any melee weapon in the game. not counting things like the glaive. The Innodem even outdamages my crit-focused Balor Dagger. With its high damage, good damage type distribution, the second best follow-through in the game, and highest range in the game, the Innodem is probably one of the best conventional melee weapons you can have. The follow-through is especially powerful. If you strike 5 enemies at once with the Praedos, which has a 0.6 follow-through, you'll deal 100% damage to the first enemy, 60% to the second, 36% to the third, 21.6% to the fourth, and 12.96% to the fifth, for a total of about 230% damage. Do this instead with the Innodem, you get 100%, 90%, 81%, 72.9% and 65.61%, for a total of about 409% damage. This makes the Innodem more powerful in groups than its stats may seem, especially as it has the range to hit those groups too. The Innodem lacks the parkour perks of weapons like the Praedos, but then we don't need that many weapons for non-combat use. Taking into account all the evolution perks then, at its core the Innodem is a fairly conventional melee weapon. This means that building it is fairly conventional too. First, we can look at a basic hybrid combo build. Your typical combination of crits, damage, status, range, and viral work here. The innate slash on the Innodem and the slash procs on Point and Wind make a hybrid build quite effective. Both Condition Overload and Prime Pressure Point will have similar results if you're just going for Innodem attacks only. If you intend to use finisher attacks at all using this build, such as by opening up enemies to them with Naramon Sling Stun, then the evolutions Bladed Harmony, Blade Twister, Protracted Leap, and Blood Anointed should be your go-to. If you're not using any finishers, instead use Bladed Harmony, Hawk Momentum, Armed Inspiration, and then your choice of Incarnon Mode or Swooping Lunge for Evolution 4. The downranked mods of Vicious Frost and Virulent Scourge are intentional here, giving us fewer viral procs in favour of more slash procs. With this build, both Prime Reach and Gladiator Might are optional mods. You can swap in more attack speed with Berserker Fury, more range with Spring-Loaded Blade, or more damage with a Smite mod. Just remember that attack speed is additive to the evolution buffs, reducing the actual effect that attack speed mods will give you. Now for more power from your Innodem, you can shift to using a status primer like the Kuvenuk or Epitaph to supercharge Condition Overload. Doing this, you'll no longer need to have viral mods on your build, and you'll find you'll have significantly more damage than just from Prime Pressure Point. The remaining 3 mod slots come down to the enemies you're facing, and otherwise again, personal preference. You can add range with Prime Reach and Spring-Loaded Blade, increase your slash chance with Carnis Mandible, include elements with Toxin for the Corpus or Corrosive for everything else, slot in Bane mods, or support mods like Healing Return. There's a lot of flexibility to pick from because of the innate additive attack speed and range bonuses the Innodem Incarnon Mode comes with already. Just as with the non-primed build, the same evolution suggestions apply here. Bladed Harmony, Blade Twister, Protracted Leap, and Blood Anointed if you include finishers, or Bladed Harmony, Hawk Momentum, Armed Inspiration, and then your choice of Incarnon Embargo or Swooping Lunge if you're going without finishers. When it comes to heavy attacks, you've got a little more variety compared to a typical melee weapon. Most notably, you can create an initial combo build with an innate 3x combo due to the Dagger exclusive mod Covert Lethality. This provides just enough initial combo, when paired with Corrupt Charge, to always have that 3x minimum combo multiplier for both damage purposes and to activate Incarnon Mode. As an added bonus, this also enhances your finisher damage if you feel like doing any finishers. With the critical stats the Innodem has, it's just marginally better to use Sacrificial Steel with Prime Pressure Point, as the damage bonus from using Primed over Sacrificial Pressure makes up for the drop in critical chance. As for modded elements, you can usually get away with Toxin for the Corpus and Corrosive for everything else, which is especially handy for dealing with Acolytes. Set up this way, you'll have over 100% critical chance on heavy attack as well. For the evolution perks, use Bladed Harmony and Incarnon Mode, with the others unimportant for the build. As for a heavy combo build, you can make use of Blood Anointed for the heavy attack efficiency, allowing you to get 80 to 90% heavy attack efficiency using either Focus Energy or Reflex Coil. By freeing up a mod slot for the heavy attack efficiency, this gives you more room to include either increased range, a smite mod, or a support mod like Life Strike. As you no longer need the ability to activate Incarnon Mode with only a 3x combo, you can swap out Incarnon Mode for Protracted Leap. This means you can gain 20 combo on a finisher, which pairs very nicely with the need for finishers for Blood Anointed, and the fact that Dagger heavy attacks can open up enemies to finishers. Once again, set up your damage types for the faction you're against, be that Toxin for the Corpus by using Reflex Coil, or corrosive for everything else by using focus energy. Revolutions, use Bladed Harmony, Blade Twister, Protracted Leap, and Blood Anointed. That gives you 4 builds when it comes to the Innodem as a no-nonsense melee, with some finishers thrown in. Of course, if you'd like a little more utility or spice in your arsenal, then perhaps you should check out these other melee guides for that much needed variety. And as always, proc finishers, gain combo, and fight well, Tenno.